Yes. Happy Wednesday, friends. It's nice to see the room. Today, our invocation will begin with JC. A song leader will be Judy Clark, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be Jackie Bledsoe. Happy to see everybody here. Happy to see Emily back from her Thelma and Louise moment in Vegas. JC. He's coming. He's old. He's slow.
Thanks, Ben. I like that. Thank you, Ben. Good afternoon to all of you. A great day. It's always a great day. 102 years. Am I right? After 102 years, this club, Kiwanis Club of Roanoke, still believe in the invocation. Isn't that something? 102 years. And I often wonder, maybe it's because there's something about that name. And maybe it's because we all know he's got the whole world in his hands. Judy Clark, join in. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. Amen.
I'm ready when you are.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do something a little interesting today. These should be on your table. Kindly grab one. There's an extra here. We don't
You
have
got one.
of that. Now stick with me, okay? Because in good operatic tradition, we got to rehearse this thing. First thing we're going to do. We're going to divide into two teams. Table, 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 table. You're going to be group one over here. The tables over here are going to be group two. And this is going to make a great deal of difference. All right. Now, we're going to practice the words first. I hope you know your good French. The chorus is Vive l'amour, which means long live love. Vive la, vive la, vive l'amour, vive la, vive la, vive l'amour, vive l'amour, vive l'amour, vive la compagnie. That's all of you. Vive, long live the company. Okay, now I will say the words and you're going to say them back to me. Let every good fellow now join the song. Vive la compagnie. His health to all present and pass it along. Vive la compagnie. Yes. Now what you got to do is group one says the line, let every good fellow and so on. And group two over here is going to come chiming in very strongly. Vive la compagnie. Okay, we're going to practice. Ready? Go. Let every good fellow now join the song. Vive la compagnie. Oh, guys, it's got to be about 10 times that strong. Vive la compagnie. This is just really big song. Okay, the next line, here's health to all present and pass it along. Okay, say it. Here's health to all present and pass it along. Vive la compagnie. Yeah. Now all together, nice and loud. Vive la, vive la, vive l'amour. Vive la, vive la, vive l'amour. Vive l'amour, vive l'amour. Vive la compagnie. Somebody in here knows French. I can understand. Okay, now here's the music.
Thank you.
Good morning. Would you please join me in the pledge to our flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jackie. Mike Adams will be introducing our guests today. Thank you, Mike. I don't see him. Okay. Who's that? Ken Brigg. I don't think he's here today.
Okay, we at Kiwanis would like to extend a warm welcome to our guests today. From the Action Club, we have Robin Fouts. Would you please stand? I read your name. Robin Fouts. John Fouts. Ken Briggs, is Ken Briggs here today? No, Ken. Okay, yeah, thanks, Sherry. Okay.
That was a Milton. Sherry just pulled a Milton. This competition for guests is getting out of hand.
Sherry, also, would you stand with from Hope Tree Family Services? We have and thank you for your efforts. We have Shane Pendleton, also as a guest of Ken Briggs. Jean Blevins. Would you please stand when I call your name? Shane Pendleton, Jean Blevins, Ricky Azell, and Candy McPeak.
Very good.
From Upward Financial Planning, we have Daniel Colston as a guest of Val Brown, our speaker. We have Janice Gregory is assistant to our speaker, Val Brown. We have Frank McGuire as a guest of Guy Bird. Frank is our new Greenways coordinator, sorry. We have Stephanie Hackett, who's a guest of Milton Hardy.
Stephanie. There's the, yes.
Actually a repeat guest of Milton Hardy, right? Hopefully she'll join Kiwanis. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Next, we're doing a grant presentation. It's one of the great things for our friends and guests that we get to do each and every year is divide up the spoils from KPAD Foundation and other sources, sponsorships into grants. And so we're beginning grant season today. Bob Haberman will be making a presentation to the Adult Care Center in Guy Bird. Bob.
And good afternoon. As Ben said, this is our first presentation. We'll be awarding grants or presenting grants beginning this Wednesday until the middle of March, with a couple of few exceptions. Our first one is to an old friend, the Adult Care Center. We've been supporting them a long time. Guy Bird, would you come forward, please? And would you tell us a little bit about the Adult Care Center? Although most of us know a lot about it, and also tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing with the grant.
Thank you, Bob. The Adult Care Center is a early project and a longtime special pet of the Kiwanis Club. It was founded 40 years ago next year. So you all have been behind the Adult Care Center from the beginning and ever since. And we really appreciate your support. In these days, trying to recover from the impact of COVID, it hadn't been easy. And we can use all the help we can find. So we really appreciate this. I will tell you that we'll probably, and that's final decision be made by someone else, be using the money to go into our scholarship fund. And the purpose of the scholarship fund is we don't want to have to say no to anybody that's coming to the Adult Care Center. And if they can't afford the $75 a day to come, then we'll make up the difference from the scholarship fund. So you will be helping a number of very dependent, needy adults who come for the day. It's medical daycare, and it's very much appreciated. Last thing I'll say is November 18th, Don Chichester is hosting a Thanksgiving luncheon at the Adult Care.
Thank you, sir. And still look smart. Brilliant. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have a autobiography from our own Emily Bailey. Emily?
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you. I don't have my sunglasses on. So it is true that that I just got back from Las Vegas with my partner in crime, Lois James, who is traveling for work today and cannot be here for this wonderful event. But the biggest reason that we went to Las Vegas was to see a Raiders game. For those of you who do not know, I am a diehard Raiders fan, and I do bleed black and silver. The reason is because my grandfather told me that when I was a little girl. Some of you may remember that unfortunately I lost my grandfather on Christmas Day this past year at the young age of 93. He was an amazing man, and I was very excited to go out to the Allegiant Stadium in Vegas to see the Raiders play. It was bittersweet not being able to call him and tell him all the things when I got back. But I know that he was with me there in spirit, and we did bring home a 38-20 win. So go Raiders. When Pegram asked me to do my autobiography, I thought, how in the world do you wrap up your life in 5 minutes? It's impossible. I want to stay within my 5 minutes. I used to write a series of short stories and poetry when I was younger, and I remembered something that I had written in the past, and it was even more so neat at the timing that I was asked to do this, because my grandparents actually had a hand in raising me, and this is a little bit about me and how that worked out in my life. So I grew up in Nelson County in the summertime and in Waynesboro City in the school year. Red clay. 2 words a lot of people know, a lot of people hate, some find challenging, but I love. It can be unforgiving, leave stains that never come out, make gardening seem near impossible, and bring back memories that you hope you'll hold near and dear for the rest of your days. Red clay. Nelson County is full of it. That clay takes me back to a childhood where the bottoms of my feet were permanently stained from going barefoot every summer. A place where my grandmother filled up a wash tub outside with water so cold that she had to add boiling water to it before we could even get into play. The sweet smell of honeysuckle took over the air so thick that it made your mouth water. We built small villages made with sticks and rocks, chased salamanders with electric blue tails, and made mud pies that made it look like they came fresh out of the oven. Our days were spent in the sun and garden, wearing only underwear, occasionally boots. We got up with the sun, worked hard, played harder, took late baths, and had push-ups for snack every night. For y'all that don't know, push-ups are ice cream. We didn't lock doors. There were no Joneses to keep up with. And everything we had was a gift from God that we knew is always just on loan. We prayed on our knees, and that's where we were taught that worry was simply interest on a debt you probably never even owed. It is our mission in life to be raised that no, we are the hands and feet of Christ, and every day we are to be in service to others. Toilets and bathtubs were stained and would never come clean. We would never come clean. We were stained for life, stained by God's country, a slice of heaven that many kids, unfortunately, will never know anything about. Red clay to me is a sign that I'm among family and that I'm in a place where it doesn't matter what your last name is, how much money you make, or what kind of car you drive. No one cares if your shoes match your outfit, and overalls are perfectly acceptable in the house of the Lord. You might slur your words and talk with a big wad of dip in your mouth. It doesn't matter. You might love Bud Light or drink craft beer. Maybe you like gin and tonic and bourbon and Coke. Totally cool. Much like Vegas, what happens there stays there. There's no reason to brag. Well, unless you caught a fish this big in Mrs. Johnson's pond, and telling each other's business is something you simply just don't do. The town shuts down for funerals. Canning in the summer is a must, and the likelihood that you will ever pay somebody back, chances are slim to none. Red clay is a place where UVA meets Virginia Tech, and the conversation stays civil because, well, we all know at the end of the day, we're all standing on the same red clay. Whether you've never finished high school, or maybe you rock your graduation cap swinging that PhD tassel with great pride and running the world, there is common ground and common respect that no one person is ever better than the next. And if you think I'm wrong, just ask that red clay, because it treats everyone just the same. Stained so deep and amazing and wonderful that in my heart, my feet will never come clean. In my heart, I will always be stained by the love and awesome beauty that can only be found off of Route 151. And God bless that red clay.
Very nice. We've got some announcements today. The Adult Care Center, Don Chichester. If you'd kind of queue up for me, I'd appreciate it. Then we have Sherry Hartman with recognition for Kiwanis one-day volunteers. And then Milton Hardy, God help us. Mill Mountain Theater Night, Larry Kufel, and the membership committee, which I'll just do right now, meeting this Friday morning on Zoom. The link is available on our website. Please join us if you can. It begins at 8 o'clock Friday morning.
Well, by now you must know something about the Adult Care Center. And on their tables are a sign-up list. They'll be out a couple of weeks preceding the event itself. I don't know if some of you have been there and done what we do, but it's an awful lot of fun. We help set up the tables. We generally, the tables are up, but sometimes we put settings out. What we ordinarily do, though, is line up, and each of us gets some part of the dinner to hand out to the people going by with their platters. And then after everybody's had a chance to eat, we get a chance to eat. And we're usually out by 1, maybe 1:30 at that. Hope you want to try it out if you haven't done it. Those of you who had done it, mind you try to convince new members to join us. Again, Friday, November 18th, over at the Adult Care Center, which is right across from the VA hospital. And then we'll see you there. They explain it. We do our duty. We contribute with what we can, and then we have a meal and come home. I hope you'll all consider being there. Thank you.
Sherry Hartman here. That is one of my favorite things I've ever done is go to the adult care center and be a part of that. So if you can make time to do that, it is the most wonderful, heartwarming experience. It will put you in the mood for gratitude for sure. Speaking of gratitude, Larry Lockperch and I have another guest here on my head. Want to thank everyone for everyone that participated on Saturday with our cleanup. It was a successful cleanup, and I have a number of folks here to thank for being a part of that. If you didn't get your take-home gloves yet, please be sure to come up and get that. If I call your name, I would love for you to come forward and line up, and Mike Obrachta can get a picture of those of you who are here today who helped out on Saturday. You braved the cold in the morning and you helped to improve our watershed, which is what our Kiwanis Nature Park Signature Project is all about. So a big thank you. I also have Monica here to help thank. Do I get credit for Monica and Larry? So as you come forward, I would love, I don't know, do we have balloons too? You got an official, now that's the really important recognition, is the official pin from President Ben Spiker. So when I call your name, you'll get that pin, a Monica, the Monarch Butterfly, thank you, and a pair of gloves if you haven't gotten one yet. And remain standing so that our webmaster, Mike Obrachta, our president-elect, can get your picture. All right. So we have our guests that we especially want to thank. And they were recruited by Ken Briggs. And that would be our folks from Hope Tree. If you would all come forward, we have Shane and Candy and Ralph and Ricky, who came out and scoped a large area and removed the litter from it. I mean, we filled together 12 bags of trash. And these folks did a great job. All right. And then we also mentioned earlier the Foutses. So Robin and John, come on down. Again, get your recognition items here. And don't forget to take Monica home with you. Put it on the fridge, this monarch, but you can hold it right in front of you because those monarch butterflies are very grateful for your contribution to our habitat improvement. All right, so we have Robin and John came out. They always come out to help. Every time we have a cleanup activity, you guys are there and we really appreciate it. Also, John Ewart, another regular volunteer for us, as well as Eric Danielson, Jackie Bledsoe. Now, Doug Dow came and represented JC. So I don't know, JC, I don't think you get to stand up on his back. But you certainly need to thank Doug for helping us out. We had Joe Gaither there, Mike McAvoy. Come on down. Thank you all for coming out. All right, are we missing anybody? Look over my list. John Pendleton was there, but couldn't join us today. Mike Obrachta was there. He should be like in front of the camera, but he's behind it. But Mike was definitely there in the water, helping get stuff out of that water that did not belong there. All right. Cool deal. Did I miss anybody? We got everyone, I believe, who was there on Saturday. All right. Trash. Or Monica. Take Monica home if you'd like, so that you remember how grateful we are for what you did on Saturday. And now I have an invitation to, all right. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. So much can get accomplished with all of that help. Get yourself a Monica. All right. Gloves if you didn't get them yet. And then I have on the middle of your tables an invitation. If you didn't help out, maybe you can come this Saturday. You can do both times. This Saturday, we are meeting at the library, and I have a sign-up sheet on the middle of your table. There's a couple of shifts on there. You can see a place to sign up at the bottom of this. We're going to introduce the design for our nature park to the community on Saturday. We'll have a rendition of the nature park available for Northwest Roanokers to come and see the plans, and most importantly, to give us input on the plans. So we're gonna need volunteers there during these shifts that I have indicated. Each shift is about an hour and a half, and it ranges between 9:30 and 1:30. This Saturday at Melrose Library, and I'll need help, somebody to collect these at the end of the meeting today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you, Sherry, for telling us about your two imaginary friends that you bring in as guests. A fish called Wanda and a butterfly. All right. First of all, I would like to thank the people that made today happen. I like the song that we sung today. Viva, what was it called? Viva la Company. Or Viva la, Liva la Vida Loca, whatever you want to call it. It was good. So I thank you for the excitement that you gave today. I read with this type of excitement as I look at my list, because I'm going to let y'all know how we're doing in our contest. After the day it is. Then we start over for next month. Eric Danielson, give him a hand. Past President Clark Goodman, give him a hand. Donald Lynch, y'all can keep on clapping. Mike O'Broctor, affectionately known as the Mob. Bart Wilner and Don Wilson, you at least bought one. But here's our runner-ups so far. Unless a miracle happens today, I'm kind of happy with this list. And I'm gonna tell you why. JC Taylor, you got 2. That's about it. Steve told me not to talk about you today, so I'm gonna leave you alone. Preston Tyler, you got 2. And that's it. Stop the applause. Stephanie Moon Reynolds, who's not even here today. She got 2. No claps. Don Witt got 3. So that's big. Yeah, that's big.
He's on Zoom.
Don, I can't see the screen, but you on Zoom? You see me. You only got 3. Ken Briggs, who mysteriously that's not even here, but bringing more guests. I'm gonna have my committee look into that because I feel like there's some kind of some kind of thing going on. But he has 7. Y'all can clap again. That's my friend. Sherry Hartman with her Sesame Street friends and all the other guests. So far, you subtract the 2 fish with a fish and the 5 loaves of bread that you bought. You have 8. Everybody, hey. But the goal is to beat the new guy. And so far, none of you are beating the new guy. The new guy, if you add today, is at 14. So to let you know how good this contest is going, so far this month, we've gotten, for our visitors, 45 people. I think we can beat next month we can beat this number. What y'all think? So I'm gonna ask y'all one more time. Don't let the new guy beat you. It's evident.
Hard to act to follow here.
Oh, the trophy. Anybody wants to get out of the gallery brown. They had a special picture on it.
Larry Kufel here, let you know that already the Kiwanis holiday social event is right around the corner. It's a little more than a month away. So on December 1st, we're all going to go across the street to Mill Mountain Theater and see that great historical musical called Holiday Inn. But before we see the show, we're going to come up to the second floor and center in a square at the Harrison Museum. We're going to have a nice reception so we can enjoy ourselves and have fellowship and get a nice time for the holidays. And Amy Carter is going to supply the food and the drinks. It's an open bar. We'll have wine and beer, soft drinks and water. And you can get all that for one price of $48. You can bring your wives and husbands and your families. And this is a good opportunity to bring guests to the show. I've got 70 premium seats, all being reserved for just all of us in our group. So this is a great opportunity to bring your guests and show them how much fun us Kiwanians have when we're out on the road. Okay. So I've got logs on the tables. Please sign up. And there's a little description of what the musical is about on the back. And I've got flyers. So hopefully you'll all show up and we'll have a great time. Thanks. By the way, John Montgomery and Joyce were the first ones to sign up. So don't let them be the only ones. Let the new guy be.
And we're right on time with our speaker. Gene Bollendorf will introduce our speaker.
So first of all, Milton, my name needs to be on that list because I have two guests here today. And I hope I get some extra points because I did give our speaker today a membership application. No pressure. Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to introduce Valerie Brown with the Greater Williamson Road Area Business Association. Williamson Road is my neighborhood, and so I'm always very interested in knowing what's going on with that business association, and there have been a lot of very exciting developments that Val's going to share with us today. Valerie has a background as a professional fundraiser, having worked for nonprofits for over 20 years. During her career, she has raised over $50 million for various nonprofits, and she has currently been serving as executive director of the Greater Williamson Road Area Business Association for 5 years. Let's give her a warm welcome.
Thank you very much, Jean. And I want to say, first of all, thank you for inviting me. I'm really excited about being here. My relationship with the Kiwanis goes back many years. I'm from Vermont, and my first input with the Kiwanians was a drawdown event that I went to, and I walked away with $1,500. So again, no pressure. But before I get into my my talk today, I have two bits of business. One is, for those of you who know me, I'm shameless in my plugs, absolutely shameless. So it gives me great pleasure to tell you that my son-in-law owns two of the best restaurants in Roanoke. He owns Martin's Downtown and Sidecar. So please go in, tell them you know Val Brown, and he'll give you the best service ever. And then second, I am always excited about Williamson Road, and I'm always excited that people know about Williamson Road. So we only brought a few today. We have 10 coasters and we have more at the office. So that gets you to come to the office. But you can have this on your desk. You can stand it up. It's got a little pedestal inside, but you can always have us right in front of you all the time. And so before you leave, if you see my executive assistant, Janice, she'll be really nice and she will give one to you. Thank you, Janice. Okay. She didn't know I was going to do that. So in order to share with you what and where today's Williamson Road is going, it's important to also share the how Williamson Road came to be. And so many times when you hear about Williamson Road, it's not always positive. So today I want to share a bit of the Williamson Road history. Some of it might seem like ancient history, in fact, but it's how we got here. So I'm going to talk a bit about our history and then a bit about where we are going. And maybe along the way, you might even hear a few familiar names. So for the ancient history part, the first time we hear of people other than Native Americans moving west in Virginia was in 1608, when the orders came down from the English authorities that the colonists must accomplish three things, the most important being to find the South Sea beyond the mountains. Failure to obey meant banishment for the colonists. And then the most important expedition for this early period was the expedition that was sent out by Colonel Abraham Wood in 1671 from Fort Henry. In September 1st, under the command of three gentlemen, Batts, Wood, and Fallon, they were accompanied with a servant and an Appomattox Indian chief, and they headed west. They were given the task of finding the ebbing and flowing of waters on the other side of the mountain, only known as Find the South Sea. The expedition went the way of the Stanton River and reached the foothills of the Blue Ridge on September 8th and the Roanoke Valley the following day. As the migration into the Roanoke Valley continued, one important route that was always traveled went from Philadelphia down through northern Virginia and the Shenandoah Valley and was called the Carolina Road. This route actually followed much the same route as the present day Route 11 North. Coming into Roanoke, it followed what we also know today as the Fincastle Turnpike, where it intersected with the Great Road, they called it, 9th Street Northeast. Then they headed south, following the same route as the old 220. So from the very first, Roanoke truly was the crossroads of the Great Migration. The first real settler was Mark Evans, and I will mention his name a couple of times. Granted, he was headed our way because he was running from Pennsylvania and Maryland. Maryland had offered a reward for his arrest, as well as for a number of other Germans, because they were known as plotters. Plotters were people who lived on land that was not theirs. And the important note for us is that he built his home beside what he called Evans Spring, which is now, we call it, the Williamson Road area. His acreage of choice land filled with gushing springs totaled 1,910 acres. We also have a bit of history on top of history. George Washington slept here. In fact, he slept in the home of the widow Evans. I told you you'd hear that name again. And he did this in 1756 while he was inspecting forts in the area. And in 1769, one of Williamson Road's predecessors, William Christian, married the daughter of the Patrick Henry. Now, I can't jump ahead to tell you what's going on in the past 20 years without also adding a bit of humor with the laws of this new land and their strict enforcement. So I'm thinking you'll probably find a bit of a chuckle here and hopefully you won't recognize any family names. But for instance, George Campbell was fined for absence from divine worship. Robert Cunningham was fined for being drunk. James Burke for swearing. Humberton Lyons for adultery. Stephen Holston for breaking the peace. Samuel Hulls for breaking the Sabbath by singing profane songs. Daniel Evans, the son, for not providing for his children in a decent Christian-like manner. John Crank for unnecessarily traveling 10 miles on the Sabbath. And Priscilla Land, who was given 39 lashes for larceny. So those were the rules back then. Now I want to fast forward to somewhat closer to today. Development of the Williamson Road area began shortly after the turn of the century, the 1900s. The land was level, the soil was rich, and the place was beautiful. A wide expanse of level land surrounded by mountains. A few families came into the area from 1902 to 1908. There were only a few houses in the Williamson Road vicinity, and more buildings had begun to be built on what we now call the 10th Street extension. Unfortunately, there were no roads into the city of Roanoke from the area. The only way that people had to get into the city was through the fields, and these were primarily private property where one had to open and close gates all along the way. However, those folks living in the Harshberger, later Hirschberger Road, they could get into the city through what we now know as Villa Heights. 10th Street was the only semblance of a road, and it was dirt, mud, and narrow. The few people who did live in the area realized they must have a road that would take them into the city of Roanoke. They went before the governing body, which at that time was the Roanoke County Board of Supervisors, and requested a right-of-way be granted for a road from Harshberger Road into the northeast part of the city so that the people on Williamson Road could travel easily. The board agreed to do this, provided the people who own the land along the proposed road, these are the people with the gates all along the way, give land for the right-of-way plus pay a specified fee to the supervisors. In addition, the residents were also told they would have to supply a team of horses and a driver. The county, for its part, agreed to furnish a team of mules, 2 men, the need that they found they needed and wanted was a hard surface road, as the road was being used more and more. So the city, i.e. the Board of Supervisors, obtained a petition asking the Commonwealth of Virginia to take over the road so that it could become hard surfaced. The state agreed and used convict labor to build it. The convicts began work on the road in 1912. And just as a point of reference, their camp was located in the general area of the intersection of Williamson Road and Oakland Boulevard. Thus, the birth of Williamson Road and the development of businesses. The dream was for the road to become a strip of attractive and successful business places. It was hoped to be an asset to the Williamson Road community and the city of Roanoke at large. Now to the present day. In 1993, the Roanoke City Council established the Williamson Road Area Special District, or SSD, to help pursue the endeavors to improve both the economic vitality and to enhance the quality of life of the greater Williamson Road area corridor and its surrounding areas. As further incentive, the SSD also established the proviso that added assistance intended to help business recruitment and retention, as well as plan for the future. These past 29 years have evidenced Williamson Road's commitment to the areas of economic development, the city beautification, strategic planning, and public safety. The image and reputation of the Williamson Road Area Business Association has continued to grow stronger. As an example, and in recognition that Williamson Road is truly a microcosm of the world with so many international restaurants and businesses, as part of our work plan and strategic plan, we have developed additional guidelines to set up inroads working with these ethnic communities to help build relationships and to be responsive to the needs of the greater area. Further, on March 15th, 2021, the City Council amended and reordained the Williamson Road Area Service District. And it allows us to grow our footprint and increase the SSD money, when we now receive more than $258,000 from the city of Roanoke to do what we can do best on Williamson Road. And I'd like to take an aside to acknowledge Bill Bestfitch, who also sits on that county and said yes that day. Thank you, Bill. I will do that. Thank you. Briefly, I'd just like to give you a few highlights of what we've been able to do with this support, with the support of other businesses and the greater members of what I call the greater Williamson Road. We have spent time relationship building. We want our businesses to know that we are there for and with them. We have monthly luncheons, and if you haven't been to one, you don't know what you're missing. So talk to us, tell us you want to be invited, see Janice, give her your business card, and then we'll see you in November, in December, and January, and February. And in support of our restaurants, we instituted the first Passport Travel the World on Williamson Road, a very successful endeavor highlighting many of our restaurants. During the pandemic, we hosted pop-up drive-in movies in the back 4 acres behind the newly renovated Happy's, also known now as Fort Knox Storage Facility. We had 7 different weekend movie nights and had well over 2,000 people in attendance over that period of time. Families enjoying fun movies, fun trucks, and just enjoying what families do best, and that is spending time together. Always thinking bigger, and I'm told I have a new idea every day. Last summer, we submitted a grant to the Department of Housing and Community Development with a proposal to build a shared office work center, an incubator, if you will, for new and existing small businesses. The grant in the amount of $150,000 was funded and was used as seed money to build the shared office space center we have today, and to also help us begin a strong business revitalization program on Williamson Road. Thus, along with our new business location, the Williamson was born. And the Williamson is also in one of the flyers on your table. This space acts as a growing ground for the next generation of business owners by offering startup business training and networking opportunities. In fact, the young man who was sitting at this table, Daniel Colston, is one of our tenants. The plan, the hope, is that once these businesses are ready to go out on their own and have their own businesses or even rent space, that they're going to look for Williamson Road and want their business to be on and around the greater Williamson Road area. We finished construction on this building in late May, and I am thrilled to say that we have rented every one of our private offices within our building, and we've also rented out a few of our open air desk spaces, and we are looking to grow even more. We also, for the first time, we celebrated National Night Out this year. We had over 1,000 people enjoy Williamson Road, meet and visit with our first responders, and walk away with smiles. Our plan is to join with even more neighborhoods in 2023. A golf tournament is scheduled for May of 2023, with the proceeds going to a program that I'll mention in a few minutes. Williamson Road has also pledged to offer some public art. On the outside of the building that we are in, there's a long white wall, and there are 9 panels. In the art world, that's 9 different canvases. Each panel would depict an artist's rendition of a long forgotten storefront from the original Williamson Road. So this is our way, a nod to the road's history, along with the support of public art. As a nod to our international road, we are in the process of planning an international wine, beer, and food festival next spring. So keep a watch. You will all be invited. And our biggest adventure following the Williamson, and this is what I referred to when I talked about the golf tournament. We are in the final draft development of what we are calling a mini facade grant program. Member businesses, both city and county, will have the opportunities to apply for grants to help with building, facade work, and other general property improvements. We want to encourage property owners and businesses to reinvest into their own real estate and businesses with our help, and thereby helping the entire Williamson Road area become more attractive to prospective clients and customers. And it is our plan moving forward to continue funding this program indefinitely. So we have dreams and we have plans. Our dreams and our plans are reflective of the dreams and the plans of our forefathers and our business owners of today, as well as those to come. We are working to grow our footprint. We want businesses to be aware of who we are and what we can do to help them, whether it be big or small, to connect area businesses into a powerful network through our leadership and advocacy on their behalf. So our goal is to help the greater Williamson Road area and beyond. We want all of that to become a thriving and dynamic marketplace of opportunities, both those who have been dreamt about and those yet to be dreamt about. And we invite all of you to join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Val. And as our membership know, we do an honorarium for our speakers, and Val has selected the Greater Williamson Road Area Business Association. He just put the initials on the envelope.
Oh, they did, you're right.
Yeah, he didn't write the whole thing out.
And this will be our first input into our facade grant program.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions that we might have for Val about what's going on out in Williamson Road?
The guy who held out on the land gets the road named after him. That's pretty good.
I thought so too. Yeah.
Is there any backstory on that?
No, except that what I read was that he wanted the whole area for himself and he didn't want people to be able to get from point A to point B without having to do some due service to him and his family.
Oh.
But the city of Roanoke, the Board of Supervisors went over him, went to the Commonwealth, and the rest is history, I guess.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What are the biggest challenges businesses on Williamson Road are facing? Repeat the question.
And the question was, what are the greatest challenges looked at by the businesses on Williamson Road today? Well, the most immediate, the right answer in my world is crime and safety. People are afraid, and I'm working with the city and with the county and with the people that we don't want them to be afraid. So we're working to try to make things better, whether it's our association with VDOT, who's working on a safer road, or it's working with the police on how we can curb crime and what we can do to curb that crime. Because if you go, now I'm on my soapbox, because if you go one block off from Williamson Road, whether it's in the city or the county, you have a lot of homes, a lot of families, a lot of residents. And we want them to want to be a part of Williamson Road and to feel free and safe to come down. So we want to build those sidewalks so they can walk safely. We want to make those roads easier to cross rather than having to cross 4 lanes of traffic so quickly and safely. Just as an aside, Janice and I were coming back from an interview I had been on. We're stopped at a corner. It was Williamson Road and where John Porter's place is. And we saw a biker get hit by a car. And there's got to be ways around that. And so that's a big part of what I'm doing is working on that. But thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Val. What do we have next week, John?
Next week.
Yeah.
Matt Bruno from WDBJ,
WDBJ, the program director,
General Manager.
general manager from WDBJ. Thank you all. There's nothing else for the good of the cause. Let's keep lifting each other up. Thank you. We're adjourned. And don't forget the coasters.
Doesn't surprise me that Milton was the first one there. Good job, man. You finished 5 minutes early. Hot damn. That's unheard of. Did the others want to meet? Yeah. I think we can. Did a nice job. Thank you very much.